Hey everybody, it's me, Vincent, and we need to talk. Spring break is here at Universal, and it is going to be just as busy as it has always been, which is going to come as a little bit of a shock to some people, but don't worry, I am here to help. We're going to be hanging out at Universal today, and I want to give you guys some tips, some really important things to know to sort of maximize your time here at the parks and make sure you guys have the best time possible here at Universal during spring break. Welcome to the latest episode of VincentVision. Wachow. Hey everybody, it's me, Vincent. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Welcome to another Universal video. Today, I decided to come to the park because I wanted to do, well, two things. I wanted to finish off these Mardi Gras passes that I got, and I wanted to do a sort of catch-all survival guide video here at Universal to sort of prepare people for spring break. Spring break is just starting to ramp up here in the parks. It usually goes on from March till April, and this tends to always be one of the busiest times at any theme park. But this year, it's gonna be just as busy. I think people expect it not to be busy because the parks are sort of still recovering from 2020, but no, it's gonna be the same. While yes, the parks are running at a reduced capacity, there's still social distancing going on, which means reduced capacity at restaurants, less people getting on the rides, which means longer ride lines and definitely a lot longer lines for food. So I wanted to make this video to kind of give you guys my personal tips based off my experiences here at Universal to sort of point you in the right direction, sort of give you some good tips to move around the parks if you're here for one day or a whole week. It's also about 3:56, which means in about 4 minutes, something very, very important is going to happen here at Universal, and we have got to get ready. I am talking about the virtual line for Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. If you are visiting Universal during spring break, it is very, very likely that you're going to want to try and get onto Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, and it is also a very, very safe bet that during this time that you're going to be at the parks, they are only going to be doing virtual line. So the only way you're going to be able to get on to Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure is with the Universal Orlando app and getting a virtual line on here. There are 3 advertised drop times: 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4 p.m. We're getting ready for the 4 o'clock drop now. I've started my day at Universal, and you're thinking, oh, what are you doing? You gotta be over at Islands of Adventure. Don't worry, you don't have to be over at Islands of Adventure. You can get a reservation as long as you are in Universal Orlando Resort. So we're gonna get ready because it's about to drop right now. Let's see if we can get that on camera okay. Oh, 4 o'clock. Oh, no times available. Uh-oh. So Universal's virtual line system, I'm gonna go ahead and say right off the bat, is definitely not as consistent as Disney's. So you see how it took a second? It's just me, we're gonna go ahead and say, and these are all the times I have. For me, I'm always gonna shoot for a later time. Oh, see, you see? Look at that. 6:15? Okay, we'll take that. Oh my gosh, not available. Oh my gosh, 4:50? Oh my gosh, what the? This is insanity. One person, I'm one person. Are you serious? Wow, did you see that? One person. I thought I was going at an okay speed, but I didn't get anything at all. Holy man. But hey, you know what? That's how it is with this Hagrid's. It is intense. It is super, super competitive. So I guess we'll head over to Islands of Adventure and see what are your options if you don't get a return time for Hagrid's. I was thinking of taking the train to head over to Islands of Adventure, but it's currently at 55 minutes, which is a little too long for me. Which actually brings me to my next point, something that I wanted to talk about: express passes and ways to sort of get onto the rides faster while you're here at Universal. There are a couple ways. There are a couple different tiers though. There are definitely different ways you can go about it. Universal Express passes are obviously the most popular, the most well-known. There are 2 different tiers. You can get a single-use express pass, which works at every ride once, or you can get the unlimited, which works at every ride an unlimited amount of times. The thing worth noting is that Express does not work on 2 attractions, and 2 very big attractions: Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure and the Bourne Stuntacular. For those rides, you can't use your Express Pass. So now you're thinking, oh, I really, really want to get on Hagrid's, and I don't want to risk not getting a virtual line like you just did, Vincent. What do? There are different ways. Universal does VIP tours, and I know what you're thinking. It's like a bazillion dollars. I'm not going to do that. The cool thing about Universal is they actually have different levels of VIP tours. They have the $1 million private VIP tour experience, and that's just like kind of like a Disney tour where you meet up with a guy and he takes you around and you get on all the rides and stuff like that. And they also have group tours, which by looking on the website is a group experience, and you see sort of all the big rides. So you're gonna see all the Harry Potter rides, you're gonna see all the roller coasters and stuff like that. And what's cool as well is you actually get an unlimited express pass for after the tour, which is nice because these tours, I think they only go on until about like 4:30, 5:30, and the parks are gonna be open till 9 or 10 during this spring break. So you can use that express while you're on your own to ride some rides that maybe you didn't get to ride while you were doing the VIP tour. There's also early park admission. This gets you an hour into the park. The parks are gonna be opening at 8 a.m. this spring break, so this is gonna get you into the park at 7 a.m. And this is gonna be the only way you're gonna be able to get on to Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure without having an express pass or a virtual line. If you get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, you are gonna be able to queue up for Hagrid's. And it's also available at both parks as well. But it is worth mentioning that the Hogwarts Express train is not going to run until both parks are officially open. So you can't go to Universal Studios, ride Gringotts, and at like 7:30 try to get on the train. You're gonna have to wait until Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure are officially open at 8 a.m. So if you're doing early park admission, just start at Islands of Adventure, knock out Hagrid's. And if you're smart enough and lucky enough, you can get a separate return time after the park is officially open and get to ride Hagrid's twice in one day, which is what not a lot of people get to do when they come here. I have plans to do a little Universal staycation at one of the hotels here and sort of show off early park admission, so expect a video like that soon. Not right now, but soon. Because right now, I gotta walk over to Islands of Adventure because I don't wanna wait an hour for the Hogwarts Express train. So let's walk on over to IOA. Walking is a great alternative here. You don't always have to take the train if you wanna jump back over to the other side. The parks are really, really close to each other. It's like Disneyland style. So you can just walk on over to the other park. There's also this crossover pathway that they've been using pretty recently, and I expect them to use it throughout all of spring break. It's a path that cuts from Blue Man Group and spits you out over at Islands of Adventure in the Dr. Seuss area. But right now, it's only one way only to Islands of Adventure, so I can't take it to head over to Islands of Adventure, but if you're in Islands of Adventure, you can come this way to get to Universal Studios. It's not always like that, I guess it's just dependent on which park is busier. But if for whatever reason you can't use the crossover, I wouldn't worry about it too much. The parks, like I said, are super close by, so you're only looking at like maybe a 5-minute walk. Ooh, this is a good one here, maps. Maps are like so 50-50. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. So if you're still looking for like a physical paper map to get around the park, they got them right now, and hopefully they'll have them throughout the rest of spring break. Otherwise, you're gonna have to use the Universal Orlando app. They are really, really pushing app usage. Walking into the sunset we go. Look at that beautiful Velocicoaster. We definitely gotta check out some updates on that when we head to that side of the park. But first, we're gonna head over to Hogsmeade and figure out our Hagrid situation. There's a line for Hagrid's, still going strong, and probably going to be like this the entire day. Hogsmeade remains as definitely the busiest area of the park, and it's definitely going to be like that during spring break. Come here. I got this skinny from one of the Hagrid's team members. Basically, what they said was if you weren't able to get a reservation at 11, 2 p.m., or 4 p.m., you're probably not going to get onto the ride, especially during this busy spring break season. In times before, sometimes what they would do is, at the end of the day, like the last hour of the park closing, you would be able to get into the standby line for Hagrid's, but it's very, very unlikely that they're going to be doing that this spring break. And sometimes if the park is open after 8 o'clock, they'll have more times available at 6. This information is good to know because, well, Hagrid's right now is the most popular ride at the park, and that one, Jimmy Fallon and the Revenge of the Mummy are going to be the 3 rides that use the virtual line. Revenge of the Mummy runs out too, and Revenge of the Mummy is pretty darn popular, so treat that the same way. The system has its pros and cons because there are multiple times to get a return time throughout the day, but as you saw with my experience, it is pretty darn competitive. And if I had gotten here right when the park had opened at 11, maybe I would have had more chances, but it's hot, it is feisty, it is, in my opinion, more intense than Rise of the Resistance, so best of luck to you. Sorry, I know, it would have been cool if I would have been able to get onto Hagrid's and show you guys how long it takes to get through, but not this time. But now that we've got that done, now that we've got that out of the way, let's explore a little bit more of Islands of Adventure, and let me try and pass on some more info that's really gonna help you guys out. So here's a fun one. butterbeer. Of course, you're gonna wanna get some when you're here in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Right now, it's a pretty long line for butterbeer right now, and it gets pretty darn long, but watch this. You come over here, they're also selling butterbeer, and there's no line. See, there's another example. You got one line for butterbeer over here, and then you got another line for butterbeer right over here. Same thing with something like Ollivanders right behind me. This is really, really popular in the morning. So if you want to get your wand experience, I would recommend doing it later in the evening and over at Diagon Alley as well. The Hogsmeade Ollivanders is small. It's only one room, and Diagon Alley is a little bit bigger. There are multiple rooms, so it's going to be easier in the evening to do the Ollivanders show. And if you can get this area without people to take a picture in front of the castle, go for it. Let's go check on the Velocicoaster ride. Ooh, look at this new sign leading us in that direction. You know how to spin those velociraptors. Look at them go. That's really funny. I just heard it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it in time, but here we can see. I'm gonna come over here. Oh, nice. I was hoping it would test while we were here. I just heard it getting ready. Let's see if we can get it going over the hill. All right, here it goes. Yeah, there she goes. The Velocicoaster. You're probably gonna need a virtual line, just letting you know. There's people on it. Look at those lucky guys. Now, do I think Velocicoaster is going to be ready for spring break? That if you show up here during this time, you're going to be able to ride this ride? Honestly, I wouldn't bet on it. Universal has not budged on that summer 2021 opening. They've refused to give us any more info, but it is still pretty exciting to look at. And if something does happen, that would be really, really awesome. Woo, woo, Velocicoaster. Oh, there it goes again. Wow, 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 the Velocicoaster. It was so cool. I had to, I don't know why I'm talking like this, but I was excited to see it with people on it and like hear the ride audio. We are one step closer to getting on the Velocicoaster, but I don't think it's gonna happen during spring break, so sorry. Now, there's something I wanted to bring up. I got distracted by the Velocicoaster. Food, yes, food. Food is very, very important here, and there are some restaurants that are easier to eat at than others during spring break. There are tons of places to get food here at Universal during lunch, and while some are definitely better than others, there are restaurants that are absolutely slammed all the time. Off the top of my head, some of the most popular places to get food here are Mel's Drive-In over Universal, Louis' Italian Restaurant, the Leaky Cauldron, the Simpsons area, all of them, the tacos, the food court, those are all really, really busy. Here at Islands of Adventure, Three Broomsticks is probably like the busiest. It's hard to say. Islands of Adventure, to me, I feel like I've never seen it as busy, so Islands of Adventure might be a better place to get lunch because places like Louis' and Mel's Drive-In are always super, super busy, and every time I'm here at Islands of Adventure during the lunchtime, it's not like awful. I mean, it's still gonna be busy, but it's not like awful. Three Broomsticks over in Hogsmeade is gonna be the one you really, really want to avoid unless you know you have to eat there. The sit-down restaurants here at Universal also take reservations. For the longest time, it was just like walk-ups, first come, first serve, but now you can look on the Universal website, you can call Universal and they're able to book a sit-down reservation for you, which for some of you guys, depending on how long you are here at Universal, is probably a better way to go. It is nice to have a sit-down meal, a good sit-down meal here at the parks, and all of the sit-down restaurants at Universal are pretty good. The parks at night. I haven't seen this in so long. Now that it is spring break time, they are staying open later. The parks are open till 8 o'clock tonight, but later as things get busier and busier, we're expecting some 9 o'clocks and some 10 o'clock closings. You get to see the awesome lighting that all of these rides have. And here at Universal, you get to enjoy the nighttime show. Universal is doing fireworks. Believe it or not, folks, the Cinematic Spectacular is back for spring break, and we are going to try and grab a spot for it tonight and see how it goes with this new social distancing protocol. The show has been going on for a little bit, but I haven't seen it yet, so we're going to go try and do that now. The park closes at 8. It's about 7 o'clock now. Hopefully I can get a spot. I feel like with the social distancing, it's going to be a little bit harder to get a spot at the lagoon, sort of the premier viewing area where you want to be while you're watching the show, but I'm going to stop talking and start walking over to Universal Studios. Oof. Be ready for this pileup of line when the crossover closes. This is where you want to be for the cinematic celebration. I've been calling it the Spectacular, my bad, but it's right over here. Let's see if we can get ourselves a decent spot. Okay, not bad. It seems like there's still some options. I'm gonna go for kind of this row right here. I think this is a good spot. I think this show is a little bit slept on. I think people don't really think of like fireworks shows when they come here to Universal, and while technically it's not like a full-on fireworks show, it's one of the only major displays of fireworks at any of the theme parks right now. So I know a lot of people like to end their theme park nights with that type of show, and they got it here at Universal too. They have some spots available right up there at the front row, but I don't think anyone's taking those immediately. You want to be a little bit further back for this show. The grassy area here seems to be the most popular spot. I don't know if you can see, but over there, as of 20 minutes before the show starts, they've actually closed it off so nobody else can get a spot here for the cinematic celebration here. You have to watch it either over there or over there. Oh my gosh, very, very loud. You know, for a second, I didn't want to see the show. I was going to leave before, but I'm glad I stuck around. That was great. And just like that, the park is officially closed, so they're sending everybody out. Mass exodus of people leaving. The park's officially closed at 8, and these are all the people from the show getting out of here. This is kind of tripping me out. This is one of the spotlights here for the show. I've never been this close to a spotlight before, so to just see the light go all the way up over here, this is weird. This is a weird. I know I didn't cover everything that you need to know to have a successful spring break trip here to Universal, but I thought I got some of the essentials. Virtual line for Hagrid's, food, getting around the park. There's a lot more to see and do, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other videos that are going to be put out around this time, but hopefully you watch mine with those as well, and hopefully it helps. So with that being said, that's all I got. I had a great time here at Universal. This is a really, really nice day before the real madness kicks in for spring break. For those of you who are visiting these next couple weeks, good luck to you. I hope you have a great time. I hope this video helps to some extent. And thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to like, subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff. Watch some more of my videos. Enjoy your time here at Universal. I know I've said it a million zillion times before, but this year, it's Universal. This is the summer of Universal. This is the spring of Universal. It's going to be a really great time to visit this resort, and I'm hoping that some of you who've maybe never been here before, this video helps and you visit this place a little bit more often. So, it's getting cold. I gotta get out of here. It's gonna be hot in the spring, but it's cold right now. So we're gonna blow this popsicle stand. I gotta go down these steps here because I went all the way to the top of this building to say goodbye. And hey, look at that Optimus Prime. He's pointing to Diagon Alley, which is opposite of the exit. Okay, now I'm just rambling. Thank you guys for watching, and bye-bye.